clouds began to enter the sky. I pulled myself out of the water and walked, dripping, to the DJ booth, which was operating out of a roofed-in bar on the side of the yard. I briefly talked to the DJ earlier, a cute, dark-haired young man with a tan deep and a smile sweet. "These songs are amazing," I now said to the DJ. "Thank you," he responded. "You know what I'd really like?" "What?" He smiled, honestly, looking me right in my eyes. I pulled my shoulders back, holding his gaze. "If there's any way you could play Teenage Dream, that'd be amazing." We kept looking at each other for another moment, smiling. I could see from the corner of my eye Eden climbing out of the pool, coming straight towards us. When Eden reached the DJ booth, the words he spoke ostensibly formed a question. His intonation made them a statement. "Do you want to go to the roof?" Oh my God, I thought. You're jealous. I looked between them, allowing myself to bask in the dazzling, unfamiliar luxury. Jesus, I thought. Younger Darren, hold on. You're going to have to learn to breathe underwater. It's going to have to be like this, not because of anything that you did wrong. But one day it will flip, and when that day comes, you will feel a kind of gratitude that other people may not. The fantasy and power that you get from music and music videos, that's going to become your real life. You've got to learn to breathe underwater. Roof sounds fun, I answered Eden casually. I ran my hands down my torso, my legs, slicking off water. I followed Eden inside and up the staircase. I stopped on the second floor, peeking into the first open bedroom I saw. I wondered if there was enough privacy. I smiled at him as we moved into the room. Suddenly, loud voices from the hallway, people spilling from a bathroom. "Maybe," I said to him, "we should go to the roof after all." On the third story of the house, we found the correct door and exited onto the balcony. The open vista that greeted us was stunning. I could see for what felt like tens of miles out over the ocean. I strode slowly up to the railing, ignoring the circus below. Eden came up behind me. I turned, looking in his eyes of piercing cobalt as he wrapped me in his arms. He leaned into my face and began to kiss me. I felt myself begin to melt into his strong, muscular embrace. From behind his body were voices emerging onto the hallway, onto the roof deck. I hoped there wouldn't be anyone up here, he murmured. I turned back around and looked out at the ocean. More clouds were entering the sky. 2 stories below us, the song reverberating from the professional speakers crescendoed. A ripple of guitar strings. They almost sounded like piano keys. Is this real? I thought. A woman's soft inhale followed immediately by her delicate, high-pitched singing. I spun in Eden's arms. I have to go downstairs. I sprang across the balcony, dodging those just entering the roof deck. I was a child on Christmas morning, cascading down the staircase, my heart overflowing with delirium of what awaited me at the bottom. The singer's voice and her rhythmic, catchy beat were now flooding the house. The song had already sunk its proverbial cushiony locking mechanisms around my body. I was strapped into the ride. I was fully committed. I reached the ground floor and ran over hardwood flooring strewn with plastic cups and beach towels. The song had begun as a ballad and was now beginning to show its hand. It was really a roller coaster, and we were merely being ticked up its first breathtaking mountain. Bursting onto the pool deck, I spotted Rico. I jumped into the shallow end of the pool, motioning for her to join me, screaming with glee. The song had reached the top of its roller coaster track. The song's synths roared as the singer's voice now muscular and blunt, dove headfirst down its 1,000-foot drop. Rico and I splashed and jumped, screaming along. As the second verse began, the singer returned to her softer head voice. I felt myself breathing, a respite from the pummeling wind I'd just survived during the first 1,000-foot drop. There in the pool, I wrapped my arms around myself, literally hugging myself. The song floated past me, out to sea. I moved my hands to my chest, stroking myself there too before lifting my fingers to centrally graze my throat. I released my fingers from my throat and resumed splashing and singing along with Rico. The song was climbing towards its second crest. There was an emotional, commanding power to the singer's voice. The power pop beat and its retro synths seemed to dive underwater. The singer's voice, too, slipped into a falling echo. The song, it sounded, was closing. I grasped Rico's delicate hands, widening my eyes as I stopped the thrashing of my body. The waves we'd made in the pool began to dissipate. Suddenly, the song began its plunge down its third and final summit. I closed my eyes and screamed along in glee, "You make me!" Eyes still closed, a flash memory barged in of me soaring across the desert in an open-air Jeep. The vehicle was old school, not of this era. It rattled with adrenaline. I stood on my seat. I gripped the frame of the Jeep with my left hand. With my right arm, I pumped the air. Wind whipped my face. Music floating up from the stereo was swallowed whole by our speed. In my mind's eye, I could just make out the driver down below to my right. He was a decade older than me. Wind threw his longish brown hair around his face, framing delight which matched mine. He looked like a real-life version of Prince Eric from The Little Mermaid. I opened my eyes. The memory had been stunning, but I'd never been in an open-air Jeep or where they drive on the right side of the road. Whose memory was that? Rico was still before me, laughing with abandon. Rico's exquisite long black hair bounced all around. Eden at the side of the pool was staring at me. I looked back at Rico, clasping hands one final time, jumping, bopping our heads in unison, yelling. The singer's voice was driving us home over a track bed of electric guitars. I let my hands slip out of Rico's and lift towards the sky. I felt them begin to drift down my chest, my abdomen, down to my hips. The ride had reached its end. The cushiony safety mechanisms released me. I climbed out of the ride and onto the platform next to me. This platform was different than the one I'd begun on, or maybe I was the one who had changed. I'd made it past mountains. Trailing pool water, I sprang over to the DJ. "That, you played the song!" I gushed. Thank you. He smiled bashfully from behind the booth. Eden came up next to me. "I want to get you alone. Can we get out of here?" I found Vera. Vera's ex-girlfriend had disappeared, but now Topeka was with her. Topeka was truly a vision. Long, lush, brunette hair, a full face of makeup, bedroom eyes, curves in all the right places. Her lips looked like they'd just been stung, and across her naked, nearly naked, shapely body, she wore a pageant sash. "May I call you Topeka?" I said. "Or do you prefer Ms. Topeka is fabulous, darling." I have to say, Topeka, you have a true sense of self. I really admire that. "Oh, I thank you, darling. From the buffet of life, Topeka tries to enjoy many dishes." She smiled, a high, feathery voice oozing from her bee-stung lips. "I want to be you when I grow up." "Oh, darling," she laughed. "Take a number." Eden came up next to me. I looked at Vera. We're thinking of, I'm gonna go. Is that okay?" Vera gave me her trademark pensive look, looking just over my forehead. "Yes." I hope you won't worry about me, I concluded, because now